Hello? Yes? I'm afraid you have the wrong number. There's no Miss Wog here. What? You say you met her on the plane? Miss D. Wog? Oh, you must mean my niece, Deirdre Waugh. My dear boy, that's Waugh, not Wog. W-A-U-G-H, Waugh. Well, it's English. Yes. If you think that's funny, you should meet her father. What? No, she can't see you tonight. She's going out with me. But I'll give her your message. What was that name again? Tex Bastnicht? All right, Tex, I'll give you your message. Paul!
He can't come, Uncle Roy. He's in my bathroom.
What's he doing in your bathroom?
Well, the drain in the shower clogged and there's water all over everything.
Look, if you don't hurry up and get dressed, we'll miss the curtain.
Mr. Markham?
Yes?
I'm Tony Ray. I'd like to talk to you. It's very important. Can I come in?
Well, all right. I'm sorry if I seem a little abrupt, but my niece and I are going to the theater.
I won't take much of your time, Mr. Markham. I want you to protect my wife.
Ray? Would that be Amy Ray, the singer?
Yes, that's right. This came this afternoon.
I've waited as long as I can without receiving an answer. I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, we just can't go on this way, and I don't have to warn you about going to the police.
It's the third one, and they're getting worse.
You should have taken the first one to the police.
Well, he said he'd kill Amy if we told him.
Mr. Ray, a woman as successful and as talented and as beautiful as your wife must expect to be the target of all sorts of eccentrics. Most of them are harmless. However, if...
It's a matter of money, Mr. Markham.
Well, the fee is high, but I'm sure you can afford it.
Well, look, why don't you bring your,
my niece. She really is.
Well, bring her to the Coke door after the show. Amy will be on or in her dressing room. We can talk then.
The Coke door. Oh, Uncle Roy, will you, please? I saw Amy Ray at the Palladium last year, and she's my favorite of all favorites, except Elvis.
Well, I guess there's your answer. We'll try to make the second show.
Fine, we'll see you then.
All right?
Uncle Roy, you'll have to help me with this dress. I just can't seem to keep everything in place with one hand.
And there's a place for everything and everything in its place. Now get upstairs, pick up your handbag and your gloves.
Amy, this is Mr. Markham and his niece, Dee Dee Waugh.
Well, Tony said you'd come by.
Well, we actually came on business, but I must say it's a pleasure.
Well, thank you.
Oh, Miss Ray, you are the superlative.
I showed Mr. Markham the note that came this afternoon, darling.
Tony, you shouldn't worry about those silly notes. It's just some oddball who gets a kick out of threatening people. That's all. Isn't that right, Mr. Markham?
Probably. But a small percentage of the cranks who send this kind of threat sometimes are dangerous. Do you think anyone might be playing a trick on you?
No. Well, of course, we travel with some practical jokers, but I'm sure they wouldn't go this far.
No one who holds a real grudge?
I can't think of a soul, honey, can you?
No, except...
Except who?
Oh, who, baby?
Well, it's silly. I'd rather not say.
Well, if we'd have found out anything, I think we should...
Look, we'll talk about it tonight when we get home. And then, if it makes any sense, you can tell Mr. Markham. Now, if you'll excuse me, please, I've got to get ready for my next show. I appreciate your coming, Mr. Markham.
The pleasure.
Though I do think it was unnecessary.
All right.
Goodbye. Tony, darling, will you please stop worrying about me, This'll all be over before you know it. Silly.
Hello, Chester.
Hi, Mr. Ray. I was away from the desk when you came in, but the boy in the elevator tells me he just brought you up.
That's right.
It's a box for Mrs. Ray. Someone left it a couple of hours ago and asked me to give it to her when she came in. Thanks a lot.
Who was that, honey?
Another present. Probably that tipsy guy with the tin mine. Oh, he's loaded any way you look at it.
Open it. I just love surprises. Well, what is it?
Well, I haven't opened it yet.
Well, hurry up, darling.
Why?
Who is it?
It's me, Dee Dee.
What do you want?
I want to take a shower. May I come in?
No, you can't. I suppose you got A for effort last term?
I got S for initiative.
S.
Superlative. So there.
Why don't you use your own shower?
Because they had to tear off the floor to get at the drain. Gee, this is really jazzy. The light and everything. I'm freezing.
Oh, it's all right, officer. I know Mr. Markham. Please come in.
Good morning, Mrs. Ray.
Please. And it's anything but a good morning. Just look at this mess. And I suppose you read about poor Tony.
Yes, I saw the papers.
Well, you said it last night. Some cranks are dangerous.
I should pay more attention to me. Who is that individual?
Oh, that's my accompanist, Andy Parker. He's nutty, but nice.
I didn't see him at the club last night.
Oh, he was there. It's a very small spotlight.
Oh?
It's from him.
The bomber?
Yes.
I could not foresee that your stupid husband would open my gift. But now you know I'm in business. Do not be deceived. I know your every move. Now I shall have to deal with this Markham. You know, he must be awfully close to you. I didn't meet you until last night.
What'd you go do that for, Pappy?
The name is Markham.
That's cool, man. I'm, how you say it, laissez-faire all the way.
Did you know a man was killed here last night?
No, like he was one of the closest.
Well, don't you think this music's a little out of place?
Look, Pappy, I've known Tony Ray a long time, so I'm hipper to the scene than you are. Like, he'd prefer to go to the burying ground ahead of the tailgate trombone. That's what he blew, you know, before he went into business. Don't you dig, baby? I want to know who blasted Tony probably more than you do. And if there's anything I can possibly do to help you, I'd be very...
You might think of someone who'd have a reason to do this.
Yeah, that's the lowest, ain't it? Well, let me see. To get back to your question. Tony Ray was the sweetest cat on earth. Even his mother-in-law loved him. Amy, well, I can clue you on her. She was, like an angel with a beat. All the cats I know would rather kick a seeing eye dog and see her hurt. You dig me, baby? I've been to the well, and I come up dry.
I see. Amy?
Yes?
I've got to go and see some people. You try and get some rest, and I'll call you later this afternoon. All right?
Thanks.
Leonard Eiderdown, a first-string oracle of Hipsville, was just the cat to fill me in on Amy Ray's nutty but nice accompanist. I thought I was doing fine without an interpreter, till he told me about Andy Parker's spouse, a female engineering consultant. This I had to see for myself. Penelope Parker lived in a smart apartment house near the river. It was the kind of place you might expect a lady engineer to live in. Mrs. Andrew Parker?
Yes?
My name is Roy Markham. May I come in? I'd like to talk to you.
About what?
Well, Mrs. Parker, I'm investigating Tony Ray's murder.
Well?
Oh, there are a few things I'd like to know about your husband.
And why don't you ask Amy Ray? She sees more of him than I do.
Do I detect a note of jealousy?
Pure hatred. That woman's a thief. She stole my husband. Not that he's worth very much.
And I just met her last night, but she didn't strike me as being at all predatory.
You were looking at her with a man's eyes, Mr. Markham. She's nothing but a wolf in chic clothing.
You're separated from your husband?
Legally, yes, but he comes around all the time.
I take it you don't like him anymore.
I never did like Andy. I love him. Look, Mr. Markham, you investigate Tony Ray's murder all you want. Leave my reports alone. They're confidential. I assume you know what that means.
Well, I have a pretty rough idea. Mrs. Parker, you admit to hating Amy. Now, we have reason to believe that Tony's death was accidental and that the intended victim was Amy Ray. Now, did you have anything to do with it?
I did not. I'm sorry Tony was killed. He was a nice guy. But if Amy had been the one, I would have found it hard to suppress a cheer.
Now, that's a straight answer. You met your husband in the Army, didn't you?
Yes, I was a WAC captain.
Personnel?
No, demolition. Specializing in landmines, delayed action fuses, and booby traps.
easy way. Hello? Yes, this is he. No, I haven't seen the papers. You what? All right, I will.
Uncle Roy,
Look, why don't you shower in your own bathroom?
with 2 plumbers in the bathroom? No, thank you. I'm a friend of the working class and all that. But there is a limit.
Look, honey, I'm afraid I can't have breakfast with you this morning. An acquaintance of mine just hanged herself.
Oh, my.
What a waste. Talent, brains. She's a real looker, too. Killed herself over a lousy piano player.
Lieutenant, you say Mrs. Parker confessed to making the bomb that killed Tony Ray?
Not only that, we found enough juice in the laundry room to scuttle New York City.
May I see the suicide note? And now that I know that I've lost you, that you'll never come back, I can't conceive any future except misery. Did you find anything else? She was alone.
As far as we know.
Mind if I look around?
No? Go ahead. You're wasting your time. We've been through it. 2 old bills, 6 cigarette butts.
Well, thanks for the information, Lieutenant. You figure you've got it all wrapped up, huh?
Don't you?
Well, suicides rarely type their farewell notes.
This was typed on her machine. Have a look.
I noticed.
Look, I have a confession. I have my murderer. Now, if you find another one, let me know, will you?
I will, Lieutenant, I promise you. You'll be the first to know. Thanks.
I just can't believe that Penny would ever think of taking her own life.
Andy ever say she threatened to?
No. Why?
Well, most suicides have a record of threats or unsuccessful attempts.
No. No, Penny always did whatever she set out to do. It must have come as quite a surprise when she found that she'd killed Tony instead of me.
You think she did?
Well, you said the police have a confession.
They do, but Penny didn't write it.
Oh? Well, then who did?
The murderer?
Well, that doesn't make sense. I mean, his handwriting is too easy to check.
His?
Well, you as much as said that Penny didn't... Oh, well, then who did make that bomb?
Someone who knew something about explosives, landmines, and booby traps.
Booby traps? Well, I don't understand.
The first time I met Penny Parker, she told me she was a demolition expert in the Army.
Yes, she was an engineer.
She also met her husband in the Army.
Andy.
Right. Plot begins to boil, huh?
Yes, but why?
Well, that's easy. When he killed Tony and threw suspicion on his wife, he removed both obstacles and was able to get the girl he really wanted.
Me?
That's right. Old Pappy's got it all figured out. It's detecting as good as his piano playing's bad. Shame he ain't gonna be around to tell to nobody.
When Penny found out who made the bomb, you had to get rid of her before you could frame her, right?
The sideman has to learn to play in all keys, baby. You never know what the leader's gonna blow. Come on, Pappy. We're going for a ride. A wild one. The wildest.
You're going for a ride, Pappy. Maybe a little too tame for your tastes. You'll be taking the first hot rod to Pokeyville. Amy? Keep him covered while I call a friend of mine at headquarters.
All right, put down the phone. Looks like we're going to have to take another trip to the beach, Andy.
I'm hip, baby. You know, Pappy, it's a shame you didn't take a shower this AM.
I wondered how long you'd spin it out, Amy.
You knew I was in this?
Just a question of motive. Who stood to gain most by Tony's death? You and Andy. You kill him and collect on that big policy you took out in his life. Blame Penny, and you two waltz off into the sunset.
Waltz?
All right. How did you guess?
Your spelling.
My spelling?
That menu that Dee Dee sent for you to autograph. You used the word receive. And you forgot the old school day gag about I before E except after C. You spelled it R-E-C-I-E-V-E. It should be R-E-C-E-I-V-E.
Well, lots of cats make that goof, Pappy.
Most of us, in fact. But when I was in your late wife's apartment, I found out that her typewriter was used to type the notes. And she said that you were around there all the time.
2 and 2 make Dixieland.
So, you must have typed the notes.
You know, Pappy, you're pretty hip for a moldy fig.
Be quiet, Andy.
And when I found this handwritten version of the suicide note in Penny's apartment, everything fell into place. The handwriting is the same as was on the menu. Yours, Amy.
Stupid. Why didn't you burn that?
He's a pianist, not a typist. He typed it out just the way you told him, errors and all. Now, this is a one-way ticket, Pappy. This time, you're really going to be gassed.
Well, it's like Andy says. It's a shame you won't be around to explain.
But I intend to. Now, give me the gun, Amy. Amy, the gun is no use without this. I took the precaution of taking it out. Lieutenant Bryan. And what did you mean it's a shame I didn't take a shower this morning?
Like I had it rigged to surprise you. Shocked might be a better word. Did he?
Uncle Roy, I was out with Tex Faznak last night. But we didn't get in till 3. I was so tired. I decided to soak in the tub instead of shower. You don't mind, do you?
Mind? Darling, I'm delighted.